Hello Year 13 and welcome along to this video tutorial. I do hope that you find this information, this video useful. I'm going to focus on, in this video I'm going to focus on assessment criteria C. In particular, I want to focus on those last couple of bullet points relating to the major project. So if we go down here now, a lot of you guys are basically working on this last section of section C, which focuses on the project management side of things. In this short video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and explain what's needed in the last two bullet points. And I'm also going to show you a couple of best examples and talk you through why they're good examples and what you guys should be aiming for in terms of a standard. Okay, so the first bullet point is it says comprehensive and fully detailed manufacturing specification. Produced which makes specific reference to relevant quality control checks and allows fully accurate interpretation by a third party. So manufacturing specification is the same as your design specification, except you're now focusing on the actual manufacturer of the final product. So this should focus you in terms of creating a criteria which your manufacturer should follow, points that your product must have or must do. Okay, so that's really important. A lot of people would put this in table format. It's up to you guys how you display it. Table generally works quite well, but obviously we can't provide you with templates on this. The specification must make specific reference to quality control checks. So you need to make sure that your QA, QC is included there, and that you allow for fully accurate interpretation by third party. Okay, so that means is anybody that's looking at this work that has never done this type of project before should be able to read this documentation and understand how you're going to put this project together, how this project is going to be manufactured. So it needs to be clear, it needs to be concise, it needs to have an introduction, it needs to have a conclusion, it needs to have a high degree of organization, and I would emphasize the use of technical language in this section as well. The last bullet point is it reads as follows: project management for manufacturing allows for further development of design proposals in response to ongoing evaluation, testing, and full consideration of contingency plans as prototype development takes place. So, one of the key components of this major project, which is different from a GCSE project, for example, is that you are essentially the project manager for your own project. So what you need to do is you need to put a comprehensive document together in the form of a production plan. This can be in chart format, it can be in table format, which demonstrates how you are building on your design proposals. So if you look at this here, you will be able to include an area within this project management area which allows you to evaluate what's going on. It allows you to test as the product is progressing, as well as including consideration of contingency planning. What that means there is, if there's a situation where you're unable to manufacture, like at the moment we're not actually able to manufacture, that you have a contingency plan in place, that your planning is well enough created and developed so that if you're not able to manufacture, like we aren't for a week or two, that you've accounted for that kind of time. Okay, so that's the criteria, and I would say that the first kind of 4 bullet points most of you have met at this stage, but those last 2 bullet points is where you need to really focus on. So if I go into an example here now at the moment, I'm going to scroll down. Sorry, this is the wrong one. I'm just going to scroll over here first to section C. So you can see here that this particular example, I'll just present this to show you, has at the top has a Gantt chart which has all of the specific areas of manufacture labeled out, how long each step is going to take, and it has it done in month to month basis. Now this is quite a basic Gantt chart, but it gives you quite a visual prompt, and it's able to explain fully, or it's able to give you a good outline really on how this is going to work. What you'll notice here as well is that it then goes into a more detailed production plan with stages and time, specific tasks to complete, quality control checks, health and safety, the materials used, tools and equipment, and that just in terms of length is about 3-4 slides long. So that's what that particular student did for a manufacturing plan. If I go and I show you another one, I'm just going to scroll down to the manufacturing plan section. Okay, so here you can see a detailed evaluation. So it says this table summarizes and evaluates experimentation and development done in this section in order to help me make informed decisions when it comes to the making of my prototype. So a little bit of an evaluation at the end of the development section, which then leads on to a manufacturing plan. Again, this is another table format using similar headings, slightly different layouts. They've gone with component, stages, tools, material, equipment, health and safety, quality control, and then contingency they've put in there as well for each section. You don't have to put contingency in for everything. You could write that as a separate summary comment, but you can see the level of detail there. So a couple of pages on that. Now what I want to stress to you all, I'm just going to go back to the criteria to do this for this video, is that neither of these two examples are how you should necessarily do it. You have to read through and understand the criteria and make the best decision for you and for your project as possible and how to demonstrate this. You can do it in the form of Gantt charts, you can do it in the form of flow charts, you can do it in the form of tables, you can use a combination of these, you can do a a manufacturing specification followed by a production plan, or whichever format you want to take is up to you, as long as you are meeting these criteria that have been set out. So my advice always is to read through and fully understand the criteria, and once you understand the criteria, you can then start to create some specific structure for your slides. Have a think about how many slides realistically you should have for this section to satisfy these last two bullet points, and then start scripting this all together. My advice would be that the production planning, manufacturing specifications, anything else, this should be completed really very soon, in the next week or so. I'm going to do a video very shortly now which outlines how to start section D and how you might lay out section D as well. I hope you find this video useful. Of course, you can drop myself and Mr. Pierce an email at any time, no problem, and we will try our best to help you any questions that you might have.